Yo.
Stupid, yo. What up, man? What's good?
What's cracking?
What up, man?
Chilling, man. What's going on?
What's going on? Yeah, this is overdue. So we got Apathy carrying the culture show. This is episode 10 or 11. I don't know. We banging them out this week. Shaheem yesterday, terminology tomorrow. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. So, yo, we're about to get into it. There's a lot of shit to cover. Let's get it going. First thing I wanted to cover with you or kind of get into with you is like early Connecticut shit for you. We're both from Connecticut. I didn't know you. People think I knew you from Connecticut. We met after the fact. We're just from the same state. You know what I'm saying? Know
right.
Some of the same people and shit. But for me, you know, like you popped off. Like I wasn't listening to anything new when you came out. I was in a fucking fuck everybody shit, and I was like, no. So I actually got put on to you a bit later. I'm like, and then I heard the name Apathy, Connecticut. I'm like, okay, what's good? This kid, you know what I'm saying? And so I got put on you kind of late in the game, to be honest with you. But I want to go to the early shit because I want to see like what your Connecticut hip hop experience was, because you know what I mean. It was different than mine, but being where we lived, it was I can say it was a special time. So I want to kind of get in there, like where you saying, yo, I want to fucking rhyme. First of all, like the whole shit, man. Wherever you want to start.
So you mean from like the right in the beginning?
I'm saying like, yeah, early Willow. I mean, wherever you. Well, it says Willimantic, but I mean, I don't know if you're in Norwich. Right. I mean, CT is so small, you can be. Yeah. Well, everybody's from fucking everywhere. So. Well,
that's the thing too. Is I had divorced parents, and so I was back and forth between Colchester, Willimantic, Montville, Norwich, the whole eastern side, the whole the mega blue collar area, and that's where I was at. And but I mean, it started for me. I want to say as far as going way the fuck back, my uncle, he had Def Jam 45s, he had Beastie Boys, he had Run DMC and all that, and he used to play those records all the time, and he was b-boying. He would breakdance. He had cardboard out, all of that shit, my Uncle Jeff. And he would rock that. And then the other thing, too, is in the 80s, we had, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a dude at 91.7 named fucking Doc 9. And Doc 9 was like Mr. Magic for Connecticut.
That's the Yukon joint, right?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Yukon joint. Yeah. We got that up in Hartford. We got that. It was a bunch of other shit we got, but I was familiar.
Right. So Doc 9 used to play all the joints. And the crazy thing is, you got to understand, at the time when he was playing joints, I was like 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old. So my worldly view, I didn't know anything that was going on. And when I first heard Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, the show, my only reference to music like that was I went to my uncle's high school for a concert. And so what I thought when I heard Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick doing the show on the radio, I thought they were at my uncle's high school down the street. So right off the bat, I'm gassed that I thought this is happening in my area. And so right away, I was obsessed with it. So my father would stay up at night with me, and he would help me tape the shows. And then after I would fall asleep, he'd stay up for the extra hour and a half or whatever it was, taping the show for me. And I'd have all these tapes. And so he'd stay up for me and do that shit. So I started being obsessed with it real early. And I didn't know it was freestyling, but I would make up my own words and do those shit. And I picked up on it really fast. I was really good at putting words together, even though it was at an elementary level, And then in the 90s, when Hyro was doing it real crazy, that was it. Like around the time where the bohemian rap shit started coming out, that's when I knew because I would fuck with it. I would dabble with rap. But around the time when Hyro and late 92, early 93 is when I really started fucking with it. So I met this local crew, Demigods. And that was Open Mic. That was this dude Voodoo. That was this dude Derek and this dude Steve. And they were
Where were they originally based out of as far as in CT?
They were living in Montville. And that surprised me. It sounds fucked up, but there was 2 black dudes in the group. So I was surprised that they were from Montville because I didn't know there was any black dudes in Montville.
I didn't either until you just told me.
Yeah. So anyway, but they were sophisticated because they were doing shit that other people weren't doing. Like they had silk screens with their logos, the Demigods. They had jackets, they had shirts, and not a lot of people had that. That was a big deal. And that was because Open Mike was doing that in high school and whatever, like shop class or whatever the fuck he was doing. He learned how to do that. So the Demigods thing was crazy to me because they were like making alien references and they had all these deep, crazy songs. And I was like, what the fuck? Who are these guys? So they had a falling out, and Open Mike was hanging out with this dude named Etc. at Open Mike's house. And my man Voodoo linked me up on the phone to call Mike because I was like, I want to be down with them. So I got on the phone with Mike, and Mike is like, I don't have time for this. So he passed the phone to Etc. and he goes, tell me if this guy's any good. So Etc. was listening to me rap, and Etc. was like, this dude's crazy. Yeah, you got to put him in the group. And I even remember fucking I spit him. I got this verse from, what the fuck is it? It's a superhero verse, and it's, I ended up recording it years and years later, but that's the verse that I spit for Mike to get into Demigods. And I still remember that shit to this day. But I was mad nervous, like I was calling a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Because
what is it? Let's hear a little bit. Give me like 10 seconds of that shit.
Defeating evil foes, silver surfing through the galaxy, battling whack MCs, super apathy, traveling at the speed of light, no destination plan, intergalactic superpowers pulsating through my hand, switch my focus to my enemy, plotting devastation, clear my mind and my soul before engaging confrontation. I place my fist upon my chest to summon superpowers. I tower over everybody, adversaries cower. I turn green, no wait a minute, red, fuck it, I'm blue, with my sidekick, now fuck that too, my superhuman crew, demigods, summoning lightning rods of energy through your planet. I'm crushing granite rocks, eating cinder blocks like sandwiches, lighting candlesticks with laser rays from my eyes, feeding faster than the bullet streaking through the skies. All my foes despise the ways of the immortal, half man and half amazing, traveling through my mystic portal.
This was when?
93. This was 93.
This was
late
93.
92.
That's a nice segue into this. So
Word.
You're known for lyricism, you know what I'm saying? That's and we've chopped it up about lyricism. You comment on my posts about lyricism and stuff. So for you, I mean, I know some of the people that you highly respect, but for you, when you were coming up at that time, you said, so was it Hyro, or were there others too that like made you kind of push you to kind of get extra lyrical with it, I guess?
Oh yeah. I mean, there was like, you gotta understand, like
Yo, you're covering the mic.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
It was like Dell, you know, all this whole era of Hyro, like 93 right here. This was the shit. Also, another group that was real big influence on me lyrically was Yags in Front.
Yeah,
Yags in Front was incredible. But all these guys, man, and you know, years later, that led to the Demigods demo, you know.
Where were you doing shows at this time, and or like where were you performing and during, like, in the early years?
It took until like 97, 98 for me to start rocking. And those, so I got into some MC battles, like up in Hartford and Manchester, New Haven. We almost got killed in New Haven. Like, this was like when it wasn't okay to be white as a rapper. You know, this was pre-Eminem. This was like out on fucking Whaley Ave in New Haven. This was like a crazy time. And I mean, I can't state that enough. If you're not our age and you don't realize what the early 90s, mid 90s was like in hip hop, at hip hop events in certain areas, it was like the Wild West, bro. It wasn't like a safe, fun hip hop feeling. It felt kind of crazy, you know. It felt dangerous, and not in a high, sexy, fantastic, dope way. It felt dangerous, like, man, am I fucking stupid for because shit was crazy. you know, I mean, there was like times we were at an MC battle and you know, we watched them stomp this kid almost to death and stab him with a pen in Manchester at the Masonic Temple. It was this big MC battle. I was out there with open mic and a whole bunch of people. And it was a crazy time period. So my first thing was MC battles. And I remember battling that at my first one ever was in Yukon. And they were all trying to clown me. And I stepped up on the stage with my heart fucking pounding through my chest. And I was just bodying shit. And the sound was bad. It was at the ROTC hangar. And then I battled this dude, this dude from Hartford, this big tall black dude with dreads named For Days.
Yo,
yeah,
you battle him. So,
bro, I ended up being roommates with For Days later. That was my roommate.
So I battled him on the dance tip back in the day when he used to be like on some real shit. He used to be a whack ass b-boy.
Lost UBC. Lost UBC was his crew.
Yeah, so this was back in the day. He used to walk around with a toothbrush in his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
So then we used to battle him at raves and shit, and then he moved to Boston, got down with Lost Unknown, got better. I knew he spit too, but I didn't know, like, you know what I'm saying? So
listen, I don't know if you and I talked about this, but bro, I probably seen you mad times at the Muni. Like, we used to go to the Muni all the time.
Yo, son, that's where I was at. I was right up the street, son. I lived right up in Lab. I was right up. I stayed
with the Indian outside, the wooden Indian outside and shit.
Yo, still down.
No, wait, was it an Indian or was it an alligator or something?
No, it was an Indian. It was like a totem pole type shit. You know
right.
Like outside.
Yo,
outside.
Listen,
so, yeah.
me and Open Mike used to go there.
CT mad small, yo. I know we've seen each other like over the
Danbury,
Norwalk, whatever. Especially back there, the Muni, yo. Motherfuckers got it in, so you know what I'm saying.
Muni was dope, bro. There was so many dope dancers back then. I would just chill because we used to hang out. My man DJ Elo used to dance there all the time, and then like the Stu Quashi, and there was I remember all the dudes there, mostly by face. But man, the Muni was dope, bro. That was a really dope time period. But so anyway, I battled For Days, and then we would go out to the city. And that was the thing we used to do. That's how I ended up in ciphers with Big L and all those guys. And I almost got shot in front of the Fever. Some dude pulled out and shit. And this was just from being nice back in the day. And you know, you had certain I had certain verses that my crew must have heard 100 times because that's what you did back then. Because they weren't recorded, there was no internet, so you go around to different neighborhoods, different parties, and you had like one or two verses. I mean, I had a lot of verses, but there was the one or two. And I remember the verse, I was out in the Fever, in front of the Fever, and I kicked the verse that made these dudes so mad they wanted to fucking kill me. And that verse I ended up recording for 7 Ellen Esoteric, Public Execution. But that was my go-to verse, like my nail in the coffin shit, because it was so fucking mean. Like when I'd say it, dudes weren't rapping like that at the time. It was hardcore, but it was like ill and you know, some complex shit too. And it used to fuck dudes up, and this dude straight up almost killed me over that verse that I ended up recording on Public Execution.
It was real back then. I mean, it was definitely real, and obviously you brought it up earlier. I mean, like, obviously being white back then was, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't the novelty, I guess it is now, or whatever, the big push to, you know what I'm saying, but
it wasn't safe like that.
It was, fucking, you had to show and prove. And even if you showed and prove, you still might get your ass whooped because you showed and proved.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly. And we had to, you know, that was the thing too, like in battles in Rhode Island, I could never let anybody, you can't let anybody punk you. Like when these dudes try to grab my clothes, I have to slap them or some shit and get into it and let them know right away, because if they started making it as an example, like they could touch me or put their hands on me or punk me, that would have been it, bro. I wouldn't be here right now having the conversation. It would have been over a long time ago.
It would have been
we
done.
had punched people in the face. It was just a crazier time, and it wasn't. It was just trying to survive. It wasn't even being knuckleheads or being assholes. It was just, you know, just trying to stay afloat, you know?
Absolutely. So as far as you, I guess the break or whatever that came for you, like what would that be career-wise?
I had to boil it. It was a slow process. It wasn't one thing. You know, I never got swooped up in a limo by Diddy and put on. So it was like just the grind of indie records. And you got to understand, the whole time where I'm making slow progress this way, it never felt like a jump. I never really, even when I got signed to Atlantic, I felt like it didn't really happen for me. And then I started fucking with Linkin Park, and it didn't really happen for me. And all these I wrote for Snoop, it didn't really happen for me. All of these things. So I feel like I'm just now at the point in my career where I'm very grateful, and I feel like I'm very proud of what I accomplished.
Wait a minute. Stop for a second.
What?
Did you just say you wrote for Snoop?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Really?
My government names in the liner notes and all that shit. Yeah.
Oh, word? For the
Yep.
early shit?
I don't give a fuck anymore because it doesn't really matter. But I worked on the song "This Weed Is Mine." It has Wiz Khalifa on the third. What's that?
I'm sorry. This weed is mine.
This Weed Is Mine, produced by Scoop DeVille. I worked on that song with them, and Snoop is mad cool, man. Snoop is so fucking dope, and he's incredible, man. And I worked with him, and I had a lot of opportunities because of Scoop DeVille. I worked with Busta Rhymes. I worked with a lot of dudes because of working with Scoop. So.
Yo, did you get high? I know you don't even smoke weed. Did you get high back then?
Well, the thing is, bro, is that, I mean, growing up, all my favorite hip hop songs are weed songs, and then listening to Snoop Dogg, I can write for anybody and make it seem like I lived that life.
No, I'm not saying that was the thing. I'm just asking if you smoked out with Snoop. Did you, or even back then, did you not smoke? You didn't bang?
No, I didn't smoke. I mean, I stopped smoking. And I had a real bad experience actually right when Cuban Links came out in New London, right here. I smoked some shit, and we decided to walk down the street to the store, and we're talking, and then all of a sudden something didn't feel right, and I went to put my hand on this brick wall, and I couldn't feel the brick wall at all. And I'm like, right then, just panic shot through my body, and I'm like, yo, is this shit laced? And they're like, nah, I'm straight, I'm good. And then I realized weed's not for me, bro. And the only person I would try to smoke with now, and I know I'd still bug out, is Be Real. Said, yo, if you ever want to smoke, I'll smoke some the proper shit with you. But I know I still trip out. I can't.
Yo, somebody said that's blasphemous that you ain't smoke with them. But fucking yo, I'm gonna go back to the battle shit for a second because I forgot to ask you. I mean, like, what's your opinion on the quote unquote battle shit now? Like, I mean, is that something you follow or something you into? You not fuck with it? I mean,
it's like sports. I don't have enough time to follow it, but I really like it and I really enjoy it. But I just don't have. It's like I love football, I love basketball and baseball, but I just don't have time to follow the seasons or who the players are or what they're doing. So battle rap is like that too, and the reason why it's like that, I think there's a handful of guys who I really like. Then there's a lot of cornballs who have really venomous lyrics, but their image and their voices are fucking corny. I got homies who are some of the most incredible dudes. Pat Stay, Mr. Disaster. I feel like I'm very cool with those guys. I really like those guys. I consider those guys my friends, and they're fucking incredible. And there's some guys who are just like their lyrics. Some of these guys' lyrics are just like mind-blowingly fucking amazing. Right. But then it's like I get frustrated because I'm like, damn, I want to hear these on songs. I want to hear these over beats. And a lot of those guys don't pursue it that much, but because their bread and butter is the battle shit. But I really enjoy it and I really like it. It's just I just don't have time to follow it.
Right. Yeah, I would prefer to hear it over beats. I mean, that's the era I came up in, so it's hard for me when I just feel like I'm just hearing insults for a while and like just like I need to hear it. I need to hear a flow. That's personally like my shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yo, how'd you connect with Preem?
So I think the main reason Preem knew of my records for a minute, but the main person who I have to give all my thanks to is DJ Eclipse. DJ Eclipse totally facilitated that. He linked me up with Preem. He helped me out with that situation and connected me with Preem. And actually, right before I had Eclipse link me up with Preem, I went to Jerky's in Providence. And Jerky's was the upstairs joint. And downstairs was a heavy metal, death metal place. Jerky's was above there. And Preem was doing a set. And I walked in there, and I didn't even know he really knew who I was. And he saw me walk in. He was on the mic, and he shouted me out. And I was like, but on my face, I'm like, yeah, what up? Trying to keep cool and shit. But, right. And so, everybody else is like, oh, shit. Because, Rhode Island was pretty much like my home away from home. It's my hometown, pretty, like, kind of. And so after that, I hung around and I talked to Preem a minute. I was like, yo, we got to link up. He's like, yo, we definitely got to do a record. It's long overdue, man. I love what you do. And I was like, so my mind was blown. And so I hit up Eclipse to make the connection later. But yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking working with Preem. And I learned a lot of valuable lessons the first song that we did.
The joints the joints are bangers. I always say for MCs, like, there's a lot of MCs that worked with Preem early on. He did their whole joints for him, and I'm like, yo, why the fuck do you leave this dude? Like, I can't really understand it. So let's get into that. You produce as well, and I wanted to get into as far as who do you respect highly on a producing level. Forget top 5, but just who do you really, you know what I'm saying? As far as I'm concerned, Preem's the GOAT. But I mean,
I think Preem's the absolute #1 top. But I think that one of the guys who impresses me the most, and this is he's just like an alien, is Knots. Knots is one of the craziest dudes I've ever seen in my life, with how prolific he is and how weird his ear is, and Knots is just absolutely fucking incredible, man.
He's
Knots
nice.
Yeah, Knots is amazing. There's a lot of guys who have really, really, really good ears. And, I mean, the usual suspects like Pete Rock, obviously Large Professor, Lord Finesse, Kanye West is in his earlier times. He's an incredible, incredible producer. Q-Tip has one of the best ears of all time ever for songs that just stuff I would have passed over on records that Q-Tip made into the most amazing fucking records. Alchemist has a phenomenal ear. I think that's one of the biggest differences is people who pick out stuff. Yeah, Dilla, of course, Dilla. He's got one of the craziest ears ever. Dilla was from another planet with the way he did shit. And I think Dilla and Premier actually have the most dick riders ever in history of all fucking time.
I think Dilla by far. I think Dilla too. Dilla, you can't say anything about Dilla. And to be honest with you, by the way, we got Apathy in the building. Please use the questions feature below where it has the questions, and we can put them out there rather than just throw them in there because it's kind of distracting. But I think, as far as Dilla, man, he was dope. But I feel like once he passed away, everyone's like, Dilla. I'm like, come on, man. At least in my circles, people weren't talking about Dilla like that. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't like he wasn't on the Mount Rushmore at that time, and then it's like he passes, and all of a sudden,
I said that in one of the you're right. The whole posthumous thing propelled him to a place where that's what I see a lot, and that's what I see that's crazy. And this is by no means is this disrespect to the artist, but I'm saying this is more disrespect to the tree jumpers and the people who are the hype beasts. All of a sudden, everybody's like, Dilla's the greatest of all time. And then all of a sudden, people are like, Sean Price is the greatest of all time. Sean P was incredible. Dilla was incredible. But y'all motherfuckers didn't give them their roses when they were here. I didn't see that fanfare when they were here, which is the most disrespectful shit to them ever. These motherfuckers, you didn't. That's fine. It's fine that you fucking show him all that love now posthumously, but he's not here to see it no more. Where the fuck was that love when he was here? That's the most important time. The most important time is to tell these motherfuckers you love them while they're here. What are people trying to act too cool and shit? Like they can't give too much props because they come off as dick riders? I tell my legends I love them on the regular. Like, I'll tell them all the time. I'll tell Yag from front. I'll be like, you guys changed my life, bro. Some of the best memories of my life. The reason why I rap the way I rap is because of you. And I always give the legends the roses when they're here. And I learned that lesson too with Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead's one of the coldest MCs, and I took it for granted that he was my friend, and I would just see him forever. I wish I could tell him, like, bro, you're one of the craziest motherfuckers alive. And it's just, that's a lesson learned. But it disgusts me that people weren't waving the Sean Price flags. Because let me tell you, you know why? Here's the reason. If they were waving the Sean Price flags as hard as they were when he was here, he'd be way more fucking cracking. And he would have had more money for his family. He would have had more opportunities. He would have had bigger shit popping. And that's some fucking sucker ass shit. I don't
Actual
understand what that's about.
actual facts, yo. I mean, let's keep it 100. Nobody was really. I shouldn't say nobody because then people say I was, but like for the most part, people weren't showing Sean Price that love like that until after. And then after it was just like Sean Price. It's like, yo, this is rock, motherfucker. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like BCC, like fucking, you know what I'm saying? LaFleur LaFleur, like Scott shit. Like this is not just, you know, so it's that's and all of a sudden Sean Price, I'm like, yo, were you really cats didn't even know. A lot of cats didn't even know that he was like, yo, this is rock, man.
Helter
This is
Skelter. Right. Right.
this
Yeah.
is Helter Skelter. This is BCC, Black Moon. This is early. This is 92, 93 shit. You
I'll
know what
tell
I
you what,
mean?
the thing that I regret the most is me and Sean P were supposed to do a song called Honky Sean Jr. And we never got to do it. And I'm so bummed out because we talked about it for a minute. We connected first at Tony Touch's show. And we were going to do it. And then once again, I just took it for granted that we'd be able to do it at any point in time. And I slept on it. And I'm sad that why is Stu Banger so slept on? Somebody said he's bubbling right now. Like Stu Bangers is really making noise, and everyone I know from Premier to Pharaoh Monch to OC, all these guys are in love with Stu Bangers right now. Stu is on the come up.
Yo, he's nice. Yeah, it's a different. I mean, he's been nice, but the thing is, it's a different game now, yo. Like, there's a lot of cats that are nice at what they do, but and let's talk about that, man. I mean, the difference is in the game today. Like, you can be nice right now, like super nice, but it's what's the difference? Is it? And I wanted to ask you, like, should motherfuckers even try to rap now, like to make a living? I mean, like, can you do it? Can a new cat come out right now, keep it a buck with the culture? Let's first go there, like, just make solid music that's in line with our culture, our values, and shit like that, and pay the bills, keep the lights on, like, and pop off.
I don't think so. I mean, not really. I mean, you have to have something else, and you have to do this as a hobby or do this for the love until something miraculous happens or something pops off. Because even us guys who share the top of the totem pole and guys who are above me, it's still not the same, and it dwindles every single year. And it's going down. It's not going up. And what's going up is the fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? And the sucker shit and the corny music. That's what's going up. And everybody I know who is true MCs, the guys who are younger, who kind of had some fame and had some shit pop off, that's because, they're doing the trapped out shit. They're doing, other type of things that sustain them. And it's not exactly what's in line with the hip hop shit. You know what I'm saying? So
then what? For an artist or someone who's still loving this shit because we want it to go on. I mean, how does it go on then? Like, how, like,
just do hip hop, carry on the torch. But I mean, the expectations can't be like the biggest mistake that everybody makes and the biggest misstep they make is be like, yeah, well, I got to do this. My hustle's crazy. I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. I want to get on. I want to make this pop. I want to feed my family doing this. That's the biggest mistake, because once you make it about that, it turns into something else. The reason why all of us got here for years and years and years and years and years is because we followed the codes and we followed the rules, like, the gangstar model of what we do. So
you're saying if someone's like, okay, my goal is to make paper off of this, then the value is going to shift a little bit, and you're going to be more likely to, I guess, hey, let me put this mumble joint out.
Right, and the thing is too, the reason why I say this, this comes from a place of experience, because if people were still able to pop off because of their skills and because of the songs, Swavsky would be popping off right now. Marvelous would be popping off right now. Blackistan would be more popping than he is right now. King Size, Planetary will be popping off more than they are right now. I'm not saying they don't have what they have already, but it would just be crazier. And the fact that that's not happening means that it's not a sustainable thing unless you make some type of sellout move. And unless you turn it to something else and attack the younger, the trapped out shit, and you start singing on your hooks and you start doing the other shit, you know what I'm saying? And God bless you if that's what you were raised off and that's what you're comfortable with, but that's just not the same thing that I'm talking about.
Right.
That's
Right.
not the same blueprint of what I mean.
Right. And the other thing is, I mean, I would say I've told a lot of artists, I'm like, yo, go to Europe, man. Like, at least as far as
Yeah.
from a fan, from what I hear and understand, is like the fans really still support there. It's almost like the '90s there, kind of, in a lot of ways. Like in terms of El was telling me, yo, like ever since he was like, yo, I went to this show there. He's like, this kid had brought everything I ever did, like for me to sign. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So,
Europe is like Europe. We're like rock stars there. It's like the love is not lost. The love is still there. The feeling of it is still there. They still really genuinely love it. They're it's
I
genuine.
always say that a lot of cats too were just kind of born in the wrong time period, yo. Like now, and there's cats that come out now.
Right.
Like, man, if this cat came out in 92, 93, or let's say it's like a native tongues type style, and just like, yo, if this cat came out in 88, 89, like,
Yeah.
it's over. It's a wrap.
There was a group of real young dudes I started working with from Hartford called the Voyagers. And they sounded like they could have been the next Native Tongues, next De La Soul, next Souls of Mischief, next Farside. They were these they were young black dudes too. And the reason why I say that is because usually with underground, it's a lot of white kids. It's a lot of young white kids, which is dope because there's a lot of dope white MCs. But usually when I see the young black dudes, they're doing something more swagged out. And not every time, and I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying most of the time what I see. So it surprised me when I saw these young bohemian black dudes who were nice, who were super nice with it. And it made me feel like, man, this is fantastic. This is so good for the culture. This is so good for everything. And it got so hard. Like I produced for them, but it's just like an uphill battle because the culture's not there to support it. The fans aren't there to support it. And that's the part that makes me sick to my stomach because then I see these guys, it's like, I'm like, yo, and I'm trying to root them on. I'm like, yo, you guys are so dope. This is so important. You guys are so, and then the results aren't there. So they're just like, and I'm like, fuck, man, this sucks. This is terrible.
Yeah, that's a painful truth that you're sharing though, man. And I appreciate you just being honest about it because a lot of people have said that. I mean, that at least you still have to have something else, Like, I guess that's ultimately what it is. And I mean, jump into that. I mean, you're doing the real estate, and you were telling me like, yo, this is doing all right for me. like
yeah, it's incredible. It's
right.
incredible. I mean, what I make in a couple transactions with real estate is a whole tour for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why would I be gone for like fucking 3 or 4 weeks, getting sick, being exhausted, being away from my family? And people say, well, but don't you love being on stage? Yeah, but I've been doing this for 22 years. It's not much different. It's like it feels like The Office. It's like Groundhog's Day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I love it, and I love doing it. I'm so happy that it's such a great feeling is to go to different towns, to be in like Albuquerque, New Mexico, and see a dude who's got all my vinyls and cassettes and CDs, and he's got a tattoo of me on his body, and all these different things, and going to Germany, and going to motherfucking Portland, Oregon, and going to fucking Texas, and all these super fans. But then on the same token, it's a little bit less each year. And the money tries to get brought down. And the producers who used to, I'm not the producers, the promoters who book the shows who used to, bring us out, they're like, yeah, App and Self, that's cool, man. And you guys are going to do good here. You guys, it's an 800 cap venue, and you guys will bring out 200, 300, 400 people. But this new swaggy, white emo kid who pops pills and fucking does weird dances and rhymes in a fucking baby accent voice is gonna flop his fucking Xanax body around the stage and pack the venue, and people are gonna lose their fucking minds. It's like, yo, that takes the wind out of my sails, bro. I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? That takes the wind out of my sails. And then I'm 41 years old. I'm going back to the hotel. I'm FaceTiming with my kids, and my heart's broken. I want to be there. My kids are talking better. Things are happening. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing this for? What am I even doing this? Why am I here? So it's like, yo, that's what it is.
Confessions of an Artist. I mean, especially now. Like, no, I
Yeah.
get it. You know, it makes sense, and it's important. It's like, yeah, you got. I mean, I've met a lot of MCs that have said the exact same thing. Like, I love it. I will always love it. But like,
Here's
this thing here
the
is
frustrating
easier.
part is you can't yell at nobody because the fans who are still here, who are rocking so hard for us, like the people who are in the chat who are fans of mine, they're here. So they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. I can't yell at the people who aren't here. You know what I'm saying? Because like, who the fuck are they? What are they moved on to? I can't be like, I'm mad at you because you don't support no more. What can you say? You know, it's a tough thing, man. It's like standing on the beach trying to punch the waves because you're mad at the ocean or some shit like that. You just can't do it.
Just trying to mop up the ocean.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You can't
Yeah.
do it. It's a losing fight. It doesn't make no sense. So it's like you just gotta kind of come. You gotta come to peace with it and appreciate who is here right now. The fans who are here.
Facts. Yo, who are some of your hip hop heroes and why?
Oh man, there's so many because I'm a wacko, bro. Like I'm
Yes,
not a
you are.
normal hip hop fan. Like I love the Invisies. I love a Van Full of Pakistans. Y'all so stupid. I love motherfucking Troubleneck Brothers. I love Yag Fu Front. I love the Boogie Monsters. Like these are like my idols. These are my superheroes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm a nerd. I'm not normal. This is my religion, and I'm a Buddhist fucking monk who fucking worships this shit. You know what I mean? Um, so it's like I'm not normal. Like I love Hard to Obtain. I love fucking all of these groups who are super crazy. The Legion. These are my superheroes. These are my legends. But as far as like the real top guys who influenced me, my number one's got to be Pharoah Monch. I'm sure that everybody can hear that in my shit. You know, Pharoah
Yeah.
Monch, OC, Prince Poe, all these guys, all the Hyro guys from '93. These guys were such a huge influence on me. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like some of my biggest influences of all time.
Yeah, that joint you did recently, a couple years ago with OC is dope. I'm playing in the background now. The
Thank you, brother.
Perestroika joint. Yeah,
Perestroika, good
that,
looks.
yeah, that shit's dope, man. You guys complement each other well on that. It's a good switch. So I like it. It's a dope joint.
Rocking back and forth with the hammer loading, the sound of the hammer holding or a sample from the omen. Get a scream from your worst bad dream, and I put it in a verse to get it cut from cream. There's nowhere to run to. I don't care if you got a gun or you can do kung fu. When Apple's on the mic and start doing his run through, the silence is screw on and light bulbs unscrew.
I love that.
That's
shit, yo. That's
that dude's that Preem is became one of my favorite friends, which is surreal to me because he's like the number one for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's a great guy, very good friend of mine.
Yeah, he's jumped on my live show a couple of times, and it was pretty cool. Like I was like, oh, what up? Yeah, he seems like a good dude. He seems like because you can tell, like, even with this online shit, or a lot of times, Joe, people's vibes be coming through, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell when like some cats are fucking, seemingly have a good heart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, with
Right.
shit. There's a couple of things I wanted to get into you before we wrapped up, because some lyrics I heard and shit, and I wanted to get some understanding of some shit. So, in the fucking Dead in the Middle shit, I believe it is, you're like, I'm the one that said 9/11 was a hoax or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. I think it was that.
Right.
That. And then you posted something recently, which I thought was cool. I fully agreed with. It was, and I've said this many times. You were like, I'm paraphrasing. You were like, even if you're not a conspiracy theorist, like, throw that shit out the window. Like, don't be so naive to think that everything is on the up and up, and that shit's not fucked up. And that's kind of like my position on a lot of things. So, like, I'm curious, like, 9/11 shit, like, are you a conspiracy theorist? Like, what's your vibe on some shit? Because you have some interesting views, and I want to just get some clarity on some shit.
Well, I think that the craziest shit ever is that the idea of conspiracy theorist, even the title of conspiracy theorist, was created by the CIA to make somebody already look fucking crazy for having a viewpoint that's not favorable by those who are in charge. And this could be found as evidence of what the powers that be have done all the way back since the Catholic Church was vilifying pagans and in different cultures and different religions. I mean, you know, even them assassinating the idea of what Wicca is and
Salem witchcraft trials and all
right,
that stuff.
right, all of that shit. But I mean, just like, you know, they've been doing that for so long. So the fact that they're like, all right, you know what? Anybody who reveals what we could potentially be doing or something, we need to make them look crazy from jump. It's like if you date a girl, okay? Let's say you have a steady girlfriend, but you get your dick sucked by this dumb bitch on the side. You want to plant the seeds with your girlfriend and be like, oh man, I know this psycho bitch who's saying shit about me, blah, blah, blah. So it's like you already plant the seeds that there's a potential for somebody to be crazy if they're going to do something you don't want to do. So the manipulation is there. And then, so I think the divide that people have when people don't believe these conspiracies, you have to ask, why would these people not do this? The mafia, which made considerably less money than one percenters and these government peoples and these politicians and officials, a lot less money. They would fucking kill people. They'd frame people. They'd beat people the fuck up. All types of shit. Extort people, blackmail people. So if the mafia is doing that for a lot less money, what do you do when the stakes are fucking infinitely higher? You're going to do fucking anything. You'll buy TV corporations to mold and shape the way people view and perceive reality. If I told my daughter that crows are robots and they steal our souls, she would grow up believing that shit because I'm programming her. I'm teaching her. So everything that we grow up, we are information dependent. Like, make no mistake about it. Our whole life could be a lie, and we might not even know it. Who the fuck is to say? There's nothing to say except for what you experience, and that's what sucks. And that's what makes me not want to participate. I want to move off into the fucking woods with my family, fish in a stream, wake up, breathe the fucking air, drink water, have good times, fucking play board games with my family, and not participate in all of this shit because it's almost impossible for us to know anything.
Everything you just said, I agree with 1,000% because you reference things that are factual. I mean, like the government, like you said, let's not be naive that the government's not fucked up. Tuskegee experiments. I mean, like all kinds of shit. Like let's. But I guess the problem, and I appreciate you adding some clarity on the conspiracy theorist term and where that came from. I guess my issue overall with all that shit is, Joe, is just like when people are just ranting about, like, we're automatically the jump is that it's a conspiracy. Like we're like automatically versus like, okay, well maybe not, maybe like some things are what they are. Some shit just got fucked up. Sometimes you just didn't get a job because you're a dumbass. Like it wasn't racist, it wasn't anything. You're just a piece of shit. Right. You weren't gonna get that fucking job. So I guess my issue overall is like because to me, you have the government kind of, you know, fear mongering and doing all this shit one way, and then to me, I feel like quote unquote conspiracy theorists do it the other way. So it's like I appreciate balance and levity, and so to me, what you shared
that's what's missing.
What you shared is just common sense to me. Like
that's and that's what's missing is critical thought is missing because the fact that I'm interested in these conspiracy theories, I'll join certain groups and talk to certain people, and it's almost like I join and I'm like, oh, cool, this is a cool room. It's almost like you go to a party and I go in there and I'm like, oh, this is really fucking cool until I fucking see a fucking I don't know, some crazy shit happen and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, this is Weirdoville. And that's what breaks my heart. And I think there's two reasons for that. Okay, there's a reason for what you just said too about people blaming conspiracy theories for everything. During times where there's uncertainty and during times where there's chaos, people subscribe to conspiracy theories so they feel like they have the control in this. As a matter of fact, this same exact shit that I've always said for decades, they just discussed it in some Netflix show, The Social Dilemma. People always, when they feel fucking crazy and when things are nuts, they always subscribe to conspiracy theories because you'll see like the conspiracy wave going like a a roller coaster.
Mm.
And like, even I think that there's a very big problem with child sex trafficking and child abuse nowadays. And so I joined a group to try to bring awareness to that and participate and show some love.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden, right off the bat, there's people sharing memes that are just inaccurate. Like, they showed this meme of this little girl with her eyes blown out and black eyes. And the women were like, this is what happens when you sodomize a little girl. The blood vessels rupture in their eyes. And this is a picture of that. Meanwhile, I'm like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense medically. So let me research that, because I'm a critical thinker. I don't just accept everything that I see. So I researched that, and it takes me about 2 minutes to find that the image is from a picture of a little girl from the Gaza Strip, and her family's house got hit by a bomb, and she got fucked up. So I take that video, I post it in this group that I'm in amongst these conspiracy theorists, and they freak the fuck out and say, they'd say this to me after I posted the image of where it actually came from, the truth. They're like, you need to do your research, and it's true, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys are the reason why people think you're fucking insane and no one listens to you. And then, so here's the other issue too that goes along with that. The government, since back in the days, has anticipated that these people are going to reveal the truth. So they intentionally interject individuals into the situation who say some crazy shit. And it's called COINTELPRO, counterintelligence. And they purposely interject misinformation and disinformation to confound everything, cause chaos, so that you don't know what's right and you don't know what's wrong. And unfortunately, none of us do now, because it's beyond repair. It's fucked. None of us will ever know the truth. It's fun to kind of keep an eye open and to, have these thoughts and ideas. But at the end of the day, none of us can solidly say, yes, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what this is. You just can't.
No, I agree with everything you say. No, you really can't. And that short story you just shared is bugged out. And it goes to this, show. In the end, we're going to believe what we want to believe.
Right.
So too, as a person, so like the information may come, it may be suspect, it may be accurate. We're going to believe what we want based on what we want to come out of it. I mean, there's a reason, and I always say, like, because I heard this a lot, there's the cheaters and the cheated. We can't be cheated unless we really want that. An old lady can't be taken for a complete house on like a scam unless she's, we're chasing pipe dreams, whatever it is, the lottery, fucking old ladies like gambling all their fucking money away at the casinos. That's a big problem at the casinos in Connecticut. So,
right.
It's what we want too in the end. So it's like these people wanted to believe what they wanted to believe, and that's what I'm saying. That's what it is. So
yeah, whatever gets you through the end of the day too. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is. But like I said, bro, all this shit, what it makes me want to do is move away out of society and not participate, because things are going to get worse.
I want to be on some Stringfellow Hawk shit. Someone said, you know what I'm saying, playing the cello in the woods and shit.
Right.
Somebody said, get back to the music. This is very important. This show in particular, when we chop it up with artists, it isn't just about the music, because the real world shit is 10 times more important than the music as far as I'm concerned. So we get into it all. It's not just about like fucking, what app's coming out with or some new shit. I mean, it's all
and what's going on drives the music.
Right. It's everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole point of this. So
that's an interesting thing too. When you look at the things that, like, what propelled the fame and everybody's need for Immortal Technique, the reason why Immortal Technique was so important to that time and space was because George Bush was fucking shit up and things were crazy and everybody didn't know where to turn to, and they wanted to hear something that inspired them on some fight the power shit against the phony 9/11 shit and George Bush's fuck shit and war. And Immortal Technique appeared like motherfucking Batman and was just like, boom, I'm here with this music, bow. And that's a good point, that what's happening is going to dictate the need for the people of what they want to hear at the time.
Right. And it's all related, and it's all important. The culture, I mean, hip hop culture came from the disenfranchised. So I mean,
right.
That's where it's from. So it's all it's all equally important. Are you gonna vote? You don't have to tell me you're gonna vote, or are you gonna vote?
Man, let me tell you something. I'm going to be struggling with this to the end of the day, because right up until voting day, because here's the thing, all right? Here's where I stand on this, and I put a lot of thought into this. I hate Trump. I've railed against Trump for a long time. And for the first 3 years of Trump's administration, all somebody has to do is look at my Facebook and my Instagram for those time periods, and all I did was shit on Trump to an exhausting level, okay? Fought with family members, fought with friends, fought with all types of people. And the crazy thing is that I feel the same hatred and disgust for Trump as I do for Biden and Harris, especially Harris. She's a fucking devil. And so for me to be like, that dumb shit, and I straight up, I'll be honest, that dumb shit of, well, what are we gonna do? Got to get Trump up out of there. Got to get Trump out of there. A vote for Biden is as long as just we can get Trump up out of there. It's better, lesser of two evils. How long are we gonna keep doing this lesser of two evils shit for? At some point, I'm gonna be like, fuck this. I'm not doing it. I gotta sleep at night. Like, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, you know what? I gotta get Trump out of here. So I'm gonna get this other devil in. And like I said on that post, it's like, I'm on fire, so I gotta jump in the ocean, but I can't swim. I'm dead, but at least I'm fucking not burning. But I'm still dead, bro. I'm still dead either way. You're still fucked either way. You're fucked with Biden. You're fucked with Trump. And I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not having my friends or my peers or anybody punk me into doing a shithead thing on both sides. Fuck that. Like, I'm not doing it, man. And at some point, people got to be like, fuck this system and fuck this two-party system and all this shit. At what point do we say that? At what point do we be like, fuck Republicans and Democrats, fuck conservatives and liberals? Because the liberals are just as fucked up too, and they just pander to people who associate themselves with fucking hip-hop to think that we need to unite with them, that they're all good and they're warriors of fucking justice. And it's not fucking true. Both of them are devils. It's all the same shit. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't.
Yeah. No, same shit to me. It's the same, two sides of a different coin. It's just mask, you just put a different spin on it, man. I saw a funny, somebody was doing an impression of Obama or something, and he was like, he's like, I want to be bipartisan. He goes, I want to find something to bridge the gap between the Democratic proposal for minimum wage to be $85 an hour and the Republicans for it to be bread and water. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same fucked up shit. Like,
right.
So I feel you, man. The off the grid shit sounds great. The Stringfellow Hawk in the Woods cello shit is what I'm.
Yeah, I want to move. I want to move to British Columbia, Canada, and just move up by Alaska and shit. Stay the fuck away from everybody.
No, word, man. I completely feel you. What the fuck? Let's see. Do you have one more question? I have a question here. There we go. So we're back to the music for a second. What's App's personal favorite song on the new album?
On Where the River Meets the Sea is probably the one that I'm working on right now is probably either Where the River Meets the Sea, the title track, which is about the first verse is a dedication to my father, and the second verse is dedicated to my kids. And I got this chick Bennett who's signed to Atlantic Records right now. She's singing on the hook. And it's probably one of my favorite songs I've ever done. It's probably either that or my other favorite song on there is Dream Sequence with Snack the Ripper. And once again, I mean, we're talking about some deep shit. We're talking about life and all that. So it's crazy. It's dope.
Yeah, I need it, man. I'm gonna fucking hound your ass. I need that shit. Here's an interesting question.
Yeah. No, it's not gone for good. The feelings definitely creep back. It's all about maintenance. I'll be driving sometimes and I'll be having a great day and everything's all good. And it just hits me. And I don't really know what it is. All I know, the interesting thing too is, here's an interesting thing for anybody who suffers from this kind of shit. when I was having the agoraphobia and the anxiety, the most powerful, the strongest, like up here, my physical health was really fucking bad, really, really bad. And that's when I was admitted to the hospital. As soon as I was in the hospital and they worked out all my pancreatitis shit and they got all my levels, my motherfucking triglyceride levels and my cholesterol and my sugar and all my levels proper, my anxiety went all the way down and my health went all the way up. Slowly, what has started to happen, and since I got sick in 2012, the more that I'm eating shitty and getting comfortable again, it's starting to go like this again. So I'm noticing with what I eat and my physical health brings back the anxiety. Me gaining weight, me eating shittier stuff, me eating more sugar. All of these things are contributing to my anxiety going back up. And it's not just anxiety that's appropriate. It's stuff that just it hits me just randomly. It's just the anxiety. I don't drink soda. Yeah, I mean that's not even right. That's not even what my issue is. I don't drink soda at all. If I drink something carbonated, it's I drink mostly water. If I drink something that's carbonated, I drink seltzers. I love the flavored seltzers, which have no sugar and no calories. It's just water with bubbles and flavor. But that's it. And the agoraphobia, yeah, for sure it hits. I mean, I suspect that it's a lot more manageable. Like I feel more comfortable, and I suspect that it's going to be there for the rest of my life, and I'm going to kind of have to do maintenance. But I need to perfect my health.
Definitely, and as people are echoing in the comments, the food is and I can echo it too. The food is it's a direct thing. I mean, that stuff, it has different effects on different people. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Someone could eat certain shit and not get all fucked up. Someone, and it's mental, it's physical, it's biological, it's all that shit. So it's,
right.
Yeah. And as someone said, stay healthy, man, because we understand a lot of our hip hop heroes, too many people are checking out before 50 and our
right.
shit, man, and like early 40s. You know,
right.
like early 40s, like late 30s. Come on, like can you know, like checking out. And I get it. Back, cats have talked about the touring and the partying and shit. And that shit catches up with you. I mean, it's like so.
Well, the problem with me too. Here's what happened.
So
it's important for people to be strong with their kids because, for example, when I grew up, this is the thing. I hope this is educational for people. When I grew up, my parents were teenagers when they had me, and we grew up on welfare and government cheese. And I used to live off of junk food. My father and I, we get up. My breakfasts were all sugar cereals. When I go to work with my father, sometimes when I was a kid, we'd stop and he'd be like, "Let's get breakfast." And that would consist of like Hostess cupcakes and a Yoo-Hoo and motherfucking Hawaiian Punch and Twinkies, all of this shit. And then when I grew up as a young man and I was broken out on my own as a teenager, I was broke, so I was living off of Little Debbie's. Literally, that would be my lunch: a box of Swiss cake rolls for $1. You know what I'm saying? 25 cents for a motherfucking fudge round or a fudge brownie or a Star Crunch. Yep. And that's how I was living. So, I mean, it's no mistake. But the point is that if I was educated properly about diet and if my parents were more strict, I wouldn't have had pancreatitis and almost died. I wouldn't have had ultra high. I'm predisposed to high triglyceride levels. When I almost died of pancreatitis, my triglyceride levels were 750. And in normal human beings, their maximum should be 150. So. What? Yeah, so the maximum is supposed to be, what's this guy say? He popped up to my crib, Cholo play some Tekken. Word, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that, man. I don't really remember off the top of my head, but yeah. But that education is lost, and that's what I try to. My kids don't eat breakfast cereals and shit like that. My kids eat fucking eggs, and even if we have pancakes, they're these Kodiak cake. Protein pancakes and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like my kids we try to feed them right and feed them mostly organic food and they drink mostly water. My kids drink waters like to the point where it's annoying because they drink all my fucking waters that are around the house. You know what I'm saying? I want some water. I go to grab my bottle, and my son pounded it, and it's just gone. I'm like, man, I gotta refill my shit now. Jesus Christ, my kids, they drink mostly water, but that's an important thing, man. It's crazy how much that's lost.
No, you're right. Teaching the kids. I mean, like it's heart wrenching sometimes when I'm in a grocery store and I see like someone in the grocery store, like a mom or whoever, and it sits stacked with motherfucking soda. Like it's all
Right.
soda and like
even juice,
processed shit, and just it's like we don't. Yeah, we and that's a bigger thing as far as society. We're fast, so we don't cook, and everything's quick. Or instant meals,
right?
Instant, so it's like. People don't even know how to make shit from scratch or whatever. Like, it's like don't read labels, blah blah blah. So
right.
So the full joint. So we're gonna get on out of here. We appreciate Apathy for giving us a lot of his time, sharing some new joints. I will edit that out. We carry the culture show, but we appreciate that and got into some real shit as well. We got to do it again, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It was fun. So
you gotta come by the studio too, man, because there's massive amounts that I cook that that's not even that's not even on these albums.
Yo, I'm coming. Actually, I forgot. I'm coming to CT in October.
Yo, let's link up. What time?
I'll hit you the last week, a week before Halloween.
Yeah, come through the studio. I have over 700 cassettes I have to show you.
Word. Yeah, I'm coming up there. I'm coming back home. See my daughter. I'm gonna be a grandfather. So.
Oh damn, bro!
So, yeah.
Rats, man.
So my daughter wants me to see her, but she's like, I need to see you before this little motherfucker gets here. So,
right.
So yeah, he's coming in February. So I'm gonna be up in October. And you can tell me later where you stay at. I mean, but
I'm in New London.
Oh, okay, word.
Come and get me.
Word. I got you, son. So we'll link up, y'all. But I'll let you know the dates. I forgot to tell you. Yeah, I'll be up there in a couple weeks.
All right, bet.
So thanks again, man. Appreciate you. We'll get this up. I'll tag you and edit it and stuff and get out some of the other parts. So
dope. Okay.
All right, man. Appreciate you,
brother.
fam.
Great
Peace.
talking to you, fam. Peace.
No doubt.